What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the YouTube channel, and in today's video I kind of wanted to just showcase my experience of playing the Xbox Series X on my Acer monitors, which I will say they're not capable of displaying its full 144 Hertz at 1080p, mainly because the HDMI input, it's not 2.1, but I mainly use it for PC gaming, which of course I use my DisplayPort cable, which is able to utilize that 144 Hertz that the display provides. But I think this is kind of a good fit for me, mainly because I mainly PC game and I just use my Xbox for the side. The monitors are pretty cheap, they're $200 retail on Amazon, so I think if you're a bit like me, this might be a good fit for you. Of course, I'm not saying go out and buy anything. Of course, do your research. There are monitors that you can get out there that fully utilize all the features of the Xbox Series X. But if you're a bit like me, you're not really in a, you don't really have the budget for a brand new, like, expensive monitor. This might be a good one for you. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have any questions, and of course, I'll be happy to answer as much as I can. Enjoy the video. So as you can see, I have purchased two of these monitors. It's what I currently use on the setup. Again, PC gamer mainly. Right now, it retails for around $200, of course, plus tax. 24 inches. It is G-Sync compatible, of course, 1920 by 1080p, 144 Hertz refresh rate, which is 144 frames per second max that this will display. 1 millisecond response time, so it doesn't have too much of an input lag. It's incredibly quick. This is a perfect monitor for gaming, especially for PC. Okay, so let's go ahead and start off with one of the more popular titles, of course, talking about Fortnite. So I don't really play Fortnite that much on console, so I'm not very good. But honestly, besides that, first thing I noticed was that the quality in, like, graphics were incredible. It looks really good, a lot better than I remember from when I first started playing Fortnite back in the day. See, I assumed that the frames were 120 frames per second max, just because it felt so incredibly smooth. I wasn't really sure, but of course I put on the settings where you can actually display the frames that are being displayed, and it only showed a total of 60 max, which to me was a surprise, because when I compare it to when I PC game, it felt as if I was playing at 120 frames, which is very hard to explain. But the colors are vibrant, it's very bright, the textures are very sharp. And another thing that I've noticed is the game was very, very smooth on the Xbox Series X. Of course, almost no performance issues whatsoever. That's one thing I really love about the X. Alright, so we are testing game number 2, and I had to try out Apex Legends. A lot of you guys don't know, but I'm actually a huge fan of Apex Legends. I played so much on PC. I actually created a second YouTube channel dedicated just to gaming, which I mainly play Apex. If you guys want to check it out, link down below. But I wanted to test this game out for another reason besides being a huge fan, because this game was actually optimized for the Series X, and I didn't know what that meant. So I gave it a test run. First impressions from the game. I played a few games, but number one is it looks incredible. The graphics are so clean, textures are amazing, colors are vibrant. I'm not very good at describing it, but it looks fantastic. But with it looking so good, another thing that I noticed, which was very important, is that the performance of it was through the roof. Compared to PC, honestly, I think the Series X ran it incredibly well, and it looks incredibly good as well, which, if you're looking for performance, you have to turn down settings on your PC so you can get the max performance out of it. The Series X handles it like a champ. So I really enjoyed playing Apex on console. I think if you're a fan of Apex, it'll look incredibly good on the Series X, especially if you have a 4K TV and all that good stuff on it as well. And another thing, I will say that while playing it, again, I had that exact same scenario where, of course, it only displayed it at 60 frames because of the HDMI issue, but it felt like I was playing at 120 frames at least. It felt so smooth. It felt as if I was playing on PC, which is kind of wild to me. But that's my first impression of that. Series X handles it amazingly. So if you're a fan of Apex and you haven't gotten a Series X, I would say you're in for a treat. So the last title I wanted to try out, I wanted to try something a little bit different. I'm also into story games and I love the Assassin's Creed games. So this one's Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I will say that I kind of did feel a difference compared to the last two games. It did feel as though I was playing probably on some lower frames, 60 frames per second. But besides that, the game looks really good and crispy and just delicious on the monitors, to be honest. I don't know if it's just the power of the Series X that just makes it so darn good. And another thing is, of course, again, it's just the processing of these games. It's just so smooth, almost no sort of issues, no lag. The way the Xbox handles these games, honestly, when you compare them to the last generation cycle, it's a pretty drastic difference. It's crazy to me how well these games run on the Series X. But this is pretty much the last game I want to test out. If you guys want to see any other games tested out, let me know, of course, in the comments down below. I have a ton of games. I also have Game Pass. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. Again, any questions, leave them down below. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.